Hello everyone, this is Salar and it's a tutorial for writing a real-time operating system. This is part 4 from my tutorial, and in this part I'm gonna talking about compressing and archiving file and directory in Linux. Okay, so let's open a terminal and I'm in home directory, and let's make a directory for today. Listen, its name is archive and compression is problem of today. Okay, it's issue of today. Press enter, cd to archive. In archive, text file, its name is salar.txt. Okay, writing that. Okay, press Ctrl X to close, enter Y and press enter. Now I have hello world in my file, and the content of archive is salar.txt. So we have seen zip files in Windows or other operating systems, and how can I create a zip file in Linux operating system? The command is straight and easy, and the command is zip. If I want to create a zip file, I should type zip, after that a name for my zip file, for example salar zip. After that that file and files that I want to zip them. Here is salar.txt, and if I press enter and ls, I have a zip file. Okay, I have a zip file, and if I open GUI, go to archive, I have a salar.zip, and it contains salar.txt. Hello. Okay, after that, how can I extract my file or files from a zip file and zip archive? Like zip command, this is easy. So, and the command is unzip, and the name of zip file. Okay, and if I press enter, it gives me a message. Sorry, because of salar.txt, and I have salar.txt, and I want to extract the content of salar.zip. It says, do you want to replace salar.txt with content of salar.zip? If I press yes, it replaces. No, doesn't replace. If I press capital A, it replace for all of file, but I have just one file, and capital N for none of file, and if I enter R, it's rename and the extracted file. But I press Y or Y and press enter. Now I have salar.txt, and if I remove salar.txt first, and another time unzip salar.zip, it extracts my file, and if I press ls, enter ls, I have salar.txt. Okay, cat salar.txt. Here my hello world. Okay, unzip has a useful option that with that you can see the contents of your zip file. For example, if I press -L for listing, and my zip file. It shows the content of zip file. Okay, in that I have a file solar.txt, like here. In that I have solar.txt. Okay, so in zip command, we have some useful option. For example, let's to our solar.zip, and another time create a zip archive and zip file with zip solar.zip from solar.txt and add -v verbose option. What's the usage of verbose option? If I add -v to my command, zip gives me some information and some data from creating a zip file and compressing some more informations. Okay, we know that when we extract or compress some big data, some big files, and a lot of files, it takes some time and it takes a while. Sometimes it takes more than 1 or 2 minutes. Okay, and when you add -v to your command, line the compressing and decompressing line, compressing and decompressing your data, you can see a lot of information about your process. Okay, -v is verbose mode, but -v doesn't work in unzip. Okay, -v doesn't work in unzip verbose mode. If you add -v to unzip, it just gives you some information and it doesn't extract your files. Okay, now else if I remove solar.txt and unzip with -v and solar.zip, it gives me some information, but if I list my file, I don't have solar.txt. It just gives me some information about extracting data. Okay, let's do extract another time. Zip solar.zip. Now I have solar.txt and remove solar.zip. Okay, now I have solar.txt. Okay, there is another useful option for zip command, that's -m. And what does it work? And so I want to create solar.zip from solar.txt. Okay, if I press enter and enter ls, I don't have solar.txt anymore. -m means move your file solar.txt to zip. Doesn't copy your file. Okay, when you copy a file, after copy process, you have your primary file. So, for example, solar.txt. But if you move your files or file after that, you don't have your primary files anymore. Okay, now if I unzip -l solar.zip, solar moves to my zip archive and zip file. And another time -m doesn't work in unzip. For example, you don't you cannot use -m in your unzip. Okay, So how can I do if I want to create a zip file from a directory? Let's do create a directory here, name dir and test directory. I have test directory, and let's do copy. Sorry, first let's do unzip solar.zip here, and remove solar.zip. Okay. Now let's copy solar.txt to test directory. cp solar to test. Okay, if I press enter, ls cd to test, another time ls. So in test I have solar.txt. Okay, and if I get solar.txt, I have those contents here. Okay, cd to archive, and ls I have solar.txt and test. So how can I create a zip directory from a directory? For example, test. I should type zip, for example, test.zip from test, and option is -r. Okay, this means I create a zip directory recursively. What means recursively? With contents of test. The content of test is a text file. Okay, if I press enter, now I have a test.zip. If I see its data and its contents with -l option and unzip command and test.zip. Okay, in test.zip I have a directory, and in that directory I have a text file. Okay, if I see that in GUI, I have a archive file, zip file. In that I have a directory, my test directory, and in test directory I have solar.txt. Okay, but what happened? What happened without -r option? If I created a zip file from a directory without -r, let's remove it and name it, for example, test1.zip. Okay, if I press enter, okay, it works, test.1. But if I see the contents, I just have one directory and not subdirectories and contents. Okay, I just have directories. If I show it here, test1, just have a test directory and there is no solar.txt here. Okay, so if you don't use -r, you just have a directory, a simple and free directory that is archived and compressed. Okay, so you should use -r for recursively process to create a archive directory that contains some files and or other subdirectories. Okay, so let's do remove test1 and .zip, rm test1.zip and test.zip. Let's just, I have solar.txt and test. Okay, how can I set a password for my zip file? It's easy, just with -e option encrypt. With -e option you can set a password for your file for your zip file. For example, solar.zip from solar.txt. If I press enter, it wants password, for example, a password, but your password should start with alphabets, and you can't start your password with numbers. Okay, for example, a password is, and you should verify your password and press enter. Now I have a zip file, and if I want to extract my file from solar.zip, press enter. It wants the password. Okay, and I insert my password and press enter. It says you want to replace solar.txt. Yes, press enter. Unless I have solar.txt from zip file, and if I remove solar.txt first and another time unzip solar.zip, it wants password. After that, I have solar.txt. So we can encrypt or zip file with a password by -e option. Okay, these were about zip and unzip command. Okay, and in Linux operating system, we have some others native tools for compressing your data. One of that is gzip, gzip. It's created for GNU tools and GNU projects, and it's like zip, and it just compressed your data, and it doesn't archive your directories, and I will describe that now. Okay, let's get familiar with gzip. Okay, first remove solar.zip. Unless I have solar.txt and test directory. Clear a screen with Control A. And how can I use gzip? It's easy. Gzip and just name of your file. You don't need to give a name for that. Okay, for example, solar.gzip. You don't need. Okay, if I press enter, and unless I have a compressed file solar.txt.gz. Okay, gz is a suffix of gzip tools. Okay, and if I want to extract my file, but there is a there is an observation here. I don't have solar.txt anymore here, but I have just a compressed file. Okay, so gzip automatically move your file to archive file and compressed file. Okay, and you don't need, for example, insert -m or write -m in your command to move. Okay, it's automatically moved. If I want to keep my primary file, for example, test here, I should enter -k option in gzip. Okay, let's do unzip and extract my file. The command is gzip, gnu unzip, and name of file. And if I press enter, ls another time, solar.txt.gz is deleted, and I have solar.txt. Okay, if I want to keep solar.txt after gzip process, I should add -k for keeping. Okay, unlike a zip command that you need to add some option, for example -m to delete primary file, you should add -k option here to keep your file. Okay, keep your primary file, and if I press enter ls, I have salar.txt.gz and salar.txt. And if I rm salar.txt and gunzip salar.txt.gz with -k, press enter, it keeps salar.txt.gz from here, okay, and it doesn't delete archived file and compressed file. Okay, so -k in gunzip and gzip, gzip and gunzip for keeping primary files. Okay, let's do remove salar.txt.gz ls, and another time create a zip file from salar.txt. Okay, and now if I want to extract the compressed files, I can use from gzip command without gunzip command. And if I want to decompress, I should add -d for decompress, and gzip-d means gunzip, and it's like gunzip. Okay, gzip-d and salar, press ls. Now I have salar.txt. It's like gunzip, but how can I create archive from my directories? For example, from test. Okay, like zip, I should type gzip-r and name of directory. If I press enter ls, I have just directory, not a gz directory. Let's to see the directory in GUI. I have test directory, but the content is compressed. Okay, it's the difference between zip and gzip. When you recursively compress your directory, just files that contains in directory is compressed. Okay, not your directory. Your directory is here, but the content was compressed. And if I gzip-r and recursively decompress test, press enter another time, I have my directory and the content is decompressed. The content was decompressed. Okay, so gzip compress just files. Okay, don't create archive from your directories. Unlike zip create a file from your directory, a zip file from your directory, and make your directory a file. Okay, and it makes your directory as a file. But gzip doesn't work that for me. So how can I do that for gzip? How can I create a file from my directory, a single file from my directory by gzip? We will talk about that in this part, but before that, let's talk about another command and another application in Linux operating system like gzip, and it's bzip2. Bzip2, like gzip, just create just create a compressed file from your files, not your directories. Even gzip2 doesn't have a recursively mode, and you can just give give a file to gzip, and you can't give a directory to gzip2 like gzip. Okay, but the algorithm of compressing of gzip2 is better than gzip. Okay, it's the advantage of gzip2 than gzip. Okay, so if I want to create a zip file from, for example, solar.txt and press enter, I should enter -z, or I can write no option for compressing, but the -z or no option is for create a compressed file. If I press enter and ls, now I have solar.txt.bz2, solar.txt-bz2, and if I want to decompress my file, the option is -d, like gzip. Okay, and if I press that's zip, and that txt.bz2. Okay, and if I press enter, now I have solar.txt. Okay, if I see help page of gzip2 command by typing gzip2 and _help, I can see some options here, for example -r or _help for a help page of this command, -d for decompress, -z for compress, -k like gzip for keep primary file and input file. -f is forced for sometimes, for example, you have a bz2 file that is created, and if you want to repeat your work, program says that you have your compressed file and it doesn't do the process, but if you enter -f, it does that and it creates a compressed file another time. And some others options, for example -l for version or v for verbose, or -1 to -9 for level of compressing. -1 is low level of compressing and bigger file, but -9 is high level of compressing, but it takes more time to compress your data. But gzip2 than gzip shows its capability in bigger files. Sometimes in smaller files you can see that gzip make a better compressed file, but in bigger files gzip2 is better. gzip2 is better than gzip, but you don't have, for example, -r for recursively, and you can't give a directory to a gzip. For example, if I want to create a compressed file from my directory, it says this is a directory, file test, it says that test is a directory, and gzip2 just work for files. With gzip you have you had -r that you can recursively, that you could recursively compress your directories, but with gzip2 you just can create compressed from files, not directories. Okay, so now how can I create a directory that is archived and compressed by gzip and gzip2 like zip? ls. First I should create archive, not compressed archive from my test. Okay, first I should convert my test directory to an archived file. After that, I should compress it with gzip or bzip2. So how can I create an archive from a directory? The command is easy. The command is tar. Okay, tar is a traditional name from Unix, and it means tape archived. Okay, and tar was a program for create a backup file from directories in Unix operating systems before. Okay, tape archive. So how can I use from tape archive? I should add some option to tar. First is -c. It means create archive file. Okay, -c and -x. X is for extract by, C is create. After that, -f and a name for my archive file. Okay, for example, test.tar. The suffix is tar. Okay, I should enter the name just after that f. For example, you can't add -c here. Okay, I should enter the name after that, after f, just after f, continuously, and the name of my directory. Okay, it says create a tar file from test, and if I press enter and ls, I have a tar file. Okay, it's not a compressed file, just an archived file, a file from my directory. Now I can create a gzip compressed file from this tar file. For example, if I press gzip and the name of file, name of archive file, and press enter. Now I have a compressed and archived file from my directory. Okay, here I have a compressed and archived file, and Solar is here. And I can do this process for bzip2. So bzip2 and -z for compressing. After that, the name of my file, my archived directory, and if I press enter, oh sorry, because I didn't use from -k for gzip, test.tar was deleted. So another time I should create a tar file from test another time, and if I enter bzip to -z test.tar, now I have test.tar.bz2. Here I have bz2 file, and in that I have my contents. Okay, okay, but I can create a archived and compressed directory from test with just tar with just tar command and some options without repeat my work into a step. For example, I should create a tar file. After that, I should compress that. I can do all of these works in one step in tar. So how can I do that? So if I want to create, for example, that gzip file, okay, that gzip tar.gzip file from test, I should do this process like here, tar -c for create, -f for name of files, for example, test1.tar.gz, after that the name of directory. So if I want to compress my directory here, I should add -z. Okay, -z in tar means after create tar file, it compressed by gzip software, gzip algorithm. Okay, I can write it like czf. Okay, czf. I can add, for example, v for verbose mode and take some information. If I press enter, it gives me some information. If I press ls, I have test1.tar.gz. Okay, just in one step by tar. Before that, I should create a file test.tar. After that, using gzip to compress by. Now I can do it in one step by z option. Okay, and I can do that for bzip2 algorithm. Okay, bzip2, and the option if I want to create is, for example, bz2, and the option instead of z is j. J is for bz2 algorithm, bzip2. Okay, if you use j, it's used from bzip2 application, and if you type z, it uses gzip. Okay, so now j, and another time press enter, it happens in verbose mode, and if I press ls, I have test1.tar.bz2 and test1.tar.gz. Okay, how can I decompress my files, archived and compressed directories in one step? It's so easy. It's so easy. I can do that with tar in one step. Tar -x for extracting, c is for creating, -v for verbose mode, for example, -z for gzip file, and -f for name of file. F should be last, and after f, the name of your file. For example, test1.tar.gz. .tar.gz. If I press it, decompress test, and if I rm -r test, I don't have test anymore, and if I iterate extracting in verbose mode, compress algorithm is for gzip, and the name of file is here, and the gzip file, press enter ls, I have test. Okay, and if I cd to test, I have my file. Okay, back to archive ls, and another time remove -r directory test. I don't have test directory anymore, and Repeat this work for bz2 file. Tar extract in verbose mode. The algorithm is bz2, so I should type J and F, name of file, test1.tar.bz2. Okay, and if I press enter another time, I have test directory here. Another time, if I change directory to C test and list the file, I have solar.txt. Okay, if I press CD and ls, it was about create, compress, and archive. Zip is easy application and easy command in Linux operating system, and it's like a zip in Windows operating system or other operating systems. But gzip and bzip2 is native in Linux operating system. You have these files and these softwares, for example, gzip and bzip2 in Windows operating system, but these files is more common in Linux operating system. And for example, some operating systems like macOS. So when you download your softwares on internet, you give a lot of your softwares, for example, with tar.bz2 or tar.gz suffix, and you can decompress your downloaded data but tar command, okay, but by tar command, and the extracting option is -x for extracting, V for verbose mode, Z or J for algorithm, and file for file name, and for creating archived and compressed file from your directory is -C, V for verbose mode, C for create, V for verbose mode, J or Z for algorithm, and for example F for the file name that you want to create. Okay, enough for this part, and see you soon. Thank you.